Professor Grant holds up a DoorDash receipt. On one side, it says $12.50 for a burger. He flips it over. The other side says the same burger costs $9 inside the restaurant. Then he pins both numbers to a board next to a third number. That number shows what the daily $3.50 gap could become over 20 years. For illustration, assume a 7% return. The number on the board is not what most people expect. And that is where this story starts. Ryan orders lunch delivery every weekday. Daniel packs his lunch and drives to the grocery store on Sunday. They live in the same suburb. They earn the same salary. They both believe they are making reasonable choices about time and money. Neither of them has done the full math. That is the only real difference between them. Let's be honest about what this is and what it is not. Paying for convenience is not a moral failure. Cooking every meal is not a virtue. The question is not whether Ryan is lazy or Daniel is frugal. The question is whether either of them knows the actual price of the life they are living. Most people do not. That is why convenience spending is so hard to judge in real time. The purchase feels small. The service feels helpful. The saved effort feels rational. But the money leaves before it ever gets a job. It never becomes an emergency fund. It never becomes an investment. It never becomes a future option. And that is the whole trap hiding in plain sight. Ryan earns $80,000 a year. So does Daniel. Both are 32. Both have the same rent, the same commute, the same general cost of living in a mid-sized American city. The only structural difference is what they do with the gap between what life requires and what their paycheck allows. Ryan has Amazon Prime, a DoorDash subscription, an Uber Eats account, a meal kit service he uses twice a week, pre-cut vegetables from the premium grocery section, and a car wash membership he signed up for in February and forgot about by March. He does not think of himself as someone who spends recklessly. He thinks of himself as someone who values his time. Daniel cooks 4 nights a week, packs lunch 5 days a week, shops with a list, and cancels subscriptions before the billing cycle renews. He does not think of himself as someone who is especially disciplined. He just does not like paying for things he cannot remember buying. By year 1, the math is already running. Professor Grant lays it out plainly. Ryan's convenience premium is the sum of many small charges: delivery fees, service charges, tip markups, menu price differences between app and counter, subscriptions that run quietly in the background. In this model, that premium lands at roughly $600 a month. That is $7,200 a year. Some months it is higher. Some months when Ryan is tired and ordering 3 nights in a row, it climbs closer to $800. $600 is the conservative number. Daniel takes that same $600. He puts it into a broad index fund at the start of every month before he touches his checking account. He does not watch the balance. He does not time the market. He sets it and ignores it. At the end of year 1, Ryan has the memory of many convenient meals. He also has a streaming queue he has barely touched. Daniel has roughly $7,800 in a brokerage account. That assumes a modest 7% illustrative return. Neither of them feels the difference yet. That is the part nobody warns you about. The gap in year 1 is invisible. Ryan feels better about his life than Daniel does. That is real. The stress of planning meals, managing a grocery list, and spending Saturday afternoon prepping food is genuinely unpleasant. Ryan has bought himself out of that friction, and for now the purchase feels worth it. The problem is not year 1. By year 3, the habit has become infrastructure. Ryan no longer thinks about ordering delivery. The apps are on his phone. His payment information is saved. One-click purchasing has removed the last psychological speed bump between impulse and transaction. A Tuesday night craving costs $22 once the fee tip and app markup are counted. Ryan does not do that math in the moment. Nobody does. There is a term in behavioral economics for what has happened to Ryan. It is called friction reduction. Every system that removes friction between a desire and a purchase increases the frequency and size of spending. Apple Pay saved credit cards, Prime membership, and subscription services all function as friction reduction tools. They are designed to make the money leave your account before your brain has time to object. Ryan's convenience premium has quietly climbed to $750 a month. Delivery platform fees increased. One meal kit service raised its price. The car wash membership auto-renewed at a higher tier. Ryan noticed none of these individually. He only noticed that his paycheck seemed shorter than it used to. Daniel's portfolio at year 3 using the same illustrative 7% return has grown to around $23,000. He has not touched it. He barely looks at it. He is thinking about other things. By year 5, the gap has a name. Optionality. There is also a social dimension that nobody includes in the math. Convenience spending is socially invisible in a way that other forms of spending are not. Nobody at Ryan's office knows he is spending $750 a month on delivery fees and subscriptions. He does not know they know. He just knows that ordering lunch feels normal because everyone around him orders lunch too. Social normalization is one of the most powerful forces in personal finance. If everyone in your peer group is doing it, the friction of not doing it is social, not financial. Daniel is the unusual one in his office. He is the one who packs his lunch. He takes a small amount of good-natured ribbing for it. He does not mind. Daniel has options Ryan does not. Not because Daniel earns more. He does not. Not because Daniel is smarter. He is not. Daniel has options because a portion of his income became capital instead of service fees. Capital creates choices. Service fees leave no residue. At year 5, Daniel's portfolio is approaching $45,000 at that same illustrative 7%. That number is not dramatic. It is not a down payment on a beach house. What it is a buffer. A car breaks down, a medical bill arrives, a landlord raises rent, and a security deposit is required for the new place. Daniel has a runway. Ryan has a credit card. Ryan's year 5 problem is not the delivery apps. The delivery apps are a symptom. The underlying condition is that Ryan has zero financial slack. His income and his spending are running parallel with nothing between them. When any unexpected cost arrives, it does not get absorbed. It gets financed. Ryan puts a $2,000 transmission repair on a credit card. For illustration, assume the interest rate is 23%. The repair itself is not the problem. The interest is not even the main problem. The main problem is that Ryan's options are now constrained. For the next 6 months, he is dealing with a debt that did not exist 2 weeks ago. He cannot switch jobs, negotiate a lower rent, or absorb a second hit. He is living inside a very small margin. Professor Grant does not call this irresponsible. He calls it fragile. A fragile financial position is not one where you are spending beyond your means. It is one where you have no means left after spending. Ryan has not done anything most Americans would consider unusual. That is exactly what makes this worth examining. By year 10, the difference between them is structural. Not dramatic, structural. It does not show up at a dinner party. It shows up when an unexpected bill arrives. It shows up when an opportunity requires capital. Daniel's portfolio at that illustrative 7% over 10 years has crossed $110,000. He has not made any dramatic decisions. He has not taken on additional risk. He has not picked individual stocks or followed any trend. He has simply routed $600 a month away from consumption and into ownership for 10 consecutive years. Ryan is earning more than he did at 32. He got a raise. The raise felt meaningful for about 3 months. Then his DoorDash spend quietly increased because he could afford it. His Amazon Prime renewed with 2 additional add-on channels he selected during a free trial. His grocery delivery order grew because he stopped having to look at the prices as he pulled items off a shelf. The raise did not make Ryan richer. It made his convenience layer more expensive. Here is where the story gets complicated and where Professor Grant insists on being fair. Ryan saved time. Over 10 years, the hours Ryan did not spend cooking grocery shopping and driving to the store add up to something real. Roughly 250 to 300 hours a year. 10 years of that is between 2,500 and 3,000 hours of recaptured time. The honest question is what Ryan did with those hours. In this story, most of those hours went to passive entertainment. Streaming, scrolling, low-intensity leisure, not building a second income, not developing a skill, not creating anything that compounds. This does not mean Ryan wasted his time. Rest has value. Leisure has value. The human nervous system needs unstructured time. But when Ryan says he is buying time to be more productive, the story needs evidence. The time was purchased. It was then spent on things that also do not compound. Daniel is not a monk. Daniel also watches television and spends Saturday afternoons doing nothing in particular. The difference is that Daniel's nothing in particular is not funded by a compounding deficit. His leisure time does not have a fee attached to it that runs for 20 years. By year 20, both of them are 52. Daniel's portfolio at that illustrative 7% return over 20 years has reached approximately $350,000. It has not made him wealthy in any spectacular sense. He is not buying yachts. He is not retiring at 52. What he has is a position, a foundation. He could choose to work less. He could take a lower-paying job that he likes better. He could absorb a major disruption without restructuring his entire life around it. He has optionality, and optionality is a form of freedom that does not appear on any income statement. Ryan at 52 is still working the same hours he worked at 32. He earns more. His lifestyle has expanded to match what he earns. He is not unhappy in any obvious way, but he has no position. If his employer eliminates his role, he has maybe 3 months before the consequences become serious. If his health requires time away from work, he does not have a mechanism to absorb it. He is exposed. Nobody told Ryan he was making a 20-year decision when he signed up for Amazon Prime. That is the architecture of convenience spending. Each individual transaction is defensible, the lunch is reasonable, the delivery fee is minor, the subscription is cheap. What nobody draws on a board is the cumulative structure. All of it runs month after month, and it is financed by future capital. Professor Grant does not think Ryan should have packed his lunch every day for 20 years. That is not the lesson. The lesson is smaller and more practical than that. Did you count the service fee? Not just the menu price, the service fee, the delivery charge, the small order fee, the tip, the price markup that can appear between app and counter. Did you add all of that before you confirmed the order? Did you count the subscription you signed up for during a free trial and forgot to cancel? Did you count the meal kit you pay for, even in the weeks you do not use it? Did you count the grocery delivery premium? You pay for pre-cut vegetables compared to a whole vegetable you cut yourself. Did you count the interest, not on a big loan, on the small credit card balance that stays at $800 for 18 months, the one you are always just short of clearing? Did you count the delivery price versus the in-store price for the same item? Most people assume delivery apps charge the same as the menu or shelf price. Often they do not. In this model, app prices can run noticeably above direct purchase prices. You are not just paying a fee. You may also be paying a premium on the underlying item itself. Most people have not counted. Not because they are careless, but because the systems that capture their money are specifically engineered to prevent counting. Friction is the enemy of spending. Remove friction and spending increases. That is not a conspiracy. It is a product design principle that happens to cost you money. The question is not whether convenience has value. It does. The question is whether you know what you paid for it. Because if you do not know what you paid, you cannot know whether it was worth it. And if you cannot know whether it was worth it, you cannot choose differently even if you want to. Ryan and Daniel started in the same place. They ended in different places. The distance between those places was not talent, income, or luck. It was a daily decision about whether to count everything. Count everything.